distinguished guests, representative of government agencies, local government units, members of the academe, researchers, private sector companies, stakeholders, our friends from the media, a pleasant morning to everyone. Welcome to the Science and Innovation Budding Opportunities for Leverage, or SIBOL, your bi-monthly dose of webinar for new projects supported by the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology, Research and Development, or DOST-PCIEERD. This is the fifth installment of the webinar, and we will be featuring our new projects that hopes to boost the Philippines industries, particularly the manufacturing and processing sectors. I am Tini Anacleto of DOST-PCIEERD, and I will be your host this morning. We now have 126 participants joining us here in Zoom. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. That's 169 pala and counting. And we have 44 viewers and counting on our Facebook Live. Good morning po sa inyo. We would like to recognize you, so please type in the chat box your name and affiliation so that we can say hi to you later. While you are typing, let me give you a quick background on why we are here. In 2019, the Philippines was lauded as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, finally veering away from its reputation in the 1980s as the sick man of Asia to being known as Asia's rising tiger, with its notable 6% average annual growth from 2010 to 2019. But the COVID-19 pandemic has halted our steady economic rise, as according to the Ateneo School for Government Dean Dr. Ronald Mendoza, our economy is primarily built around the mobility of people. With this, our tourism, services, and other industries are heavily impacted by the pandemic-induced lockdowns and decline of consumer confidence. True enough, just last week, the Philippines is one of the countries identified having the highest economic risk due to the prolonged COVID-19 pandemic, as we placed 15th in the COVID-19 Economic Risk Index from Moody's Analytics. Meanwhile, as the Innovation Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies, DOST-PCIEERD believes that science, technology, and innovation are key drivers to spur economic growth, one research at a time. This brings us to share with you the new R&D projects which will take part in shaping the future of the manufacturing and processing sectors. Join us and get a glimpse of these game-changing initiatives and projects supported by DOST-PCIEERD. We would like to say good morning po sa ating mga participant from Aklan State University, DOST-STII, Colegio San Agustin, Bacolod, University of Southeastern Philippines in Davao City. Good morning po sa inyo. University of San Agustin, Iloilo and Bacolod campuses. Hello po. University of St. Anthony in Iriga City. University of the Philippines, Los Baños. University of Pangasinan. University of St. Louis Tuguegarao. Manuel S. Enverga University Foundation in Lucena City, Quezon Province. University of St. Lasal. Laguna State Polytechnic University in Santa Cruz, Laguna. Of course, Pamantasan, Lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Iloilo Science and Technology University. Hello po sa inyo. Northwest Samar State University. Magandang umaga po. Of course, from our DOST family, hello po sa mga taga-PTRI, taga-Negros Occidental, taga-Picard. Good morning po to all our participants joining us today. Let's keep the ball rolling, sit tight, and let's learn how Filipino scientists, our very own researchers, are planning to make significant changes for our country. Officially welcoming all of us is an outstanding engineer who led and worked on numerous game-changing programs and projects in the fields of land surveying, remote sensing and geographic information system, environmental monitoring, and disaster risk assessment and management. One of these is the disaster risk exposure assessment and mitigation light ranging and detection technology, or DREAM LiDAR, which was recognized as the biggest single project that a research unit in the entire University of the Philippines system has ever undertaken. This project addressed and helped mitigate the effects of flooding disasters in the country by producing accurate national terrain elevation maps and training highly skilled LiDAR and flood mapping experts all over the country. These initiatives have been proven essential in the country's resource monitoring and management and in various government agencies' decision-making processes for formulation of policies. Please join me as we give a round of virtual applause for the Executive Director of DOST-PCIEERD, Dr. Enrico C. Paringit.
Our respected Filipino scientists and researchers from the academic and research institutions, officials and fellow workers from government agencies, our partners from private companies, media practitioners, and participants in today's event. A pleasant morning to all. The Department of Science and Technology Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development would like to thank all of you for being with us here today to witness the launch of new projects with applications on advanced materials, natural products, agro-industry, textile, and metals and engineering. Welcome to our event today. This is actually the 5th edition of the Science and Innovation Budding Opportunities for Leverage, or SIBOL. This is a webinar series which we put the spotlight on newly approved and commenced projects supported by DOST-PCIEERD. We commend our brilliant and hardworking researchers and scientists for coming up with 20 new projects which we will unveil today. We have, of course, Dr. Aristotle T. Obando from De La Salle University, Laguna, Dr. Eden May de la Peña from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Mr. Romel Bacabac from the University of San Carlos, Dr. Leo Cristobal C. Ambulode, second from the Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, Dr. Jacqueline F. Gabayno and Dr. Lemuel Tayo from the Mapua University, Ms. Valerie Ann Samson from the DOST-PNRI or Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, Mr. Roland Hipol from the University of the Philippines Baguio College of Science, Dr. Annabel Briones from our very own DOST Industrial and Technology Development Institute, Dr. Joel P. Rivadeniera and Mr. Nico Dumandan from the UP Los Baños, Dr. Julius L. Liaño and Ms. Zayla Payag and Ms. Josanela Angela V. Bilo from the DOST's Philippine Textile Research Institute, Dr. Mylene Corpus from the Isabela State University, and Dr. Agustin M. Fudolig from the DOST Metals Industry Research and Development Center. DOST-PCIEERD is truly grateful to all of you for heeding our call to spur more game-changing innovations and amidst the challenges of the global pandemic. We fully support your efforts, and we are confident that these projects can make powerful and significant change towards the manufacturing and agribusiness industries. Thank you all for your commitment. In the last decade, the Philippines has been slowly yet steadily emerging as a rising nation. This is underscored by the former World Bank Director Moto Kunishi during the 2013 Philippine Development Forum. In that statement, from the lower middle income nation with a gross national income per capita of $3,830 in 2018, we have actually risen up to an upper middle income country with a gross national income per capita targeted to be between 3,956 and 12,235 dollars in the future, no? In this immediate future. This is an indication that our economy is improving, and with it, poverty is also declining. And when the income of Filipinos increased, the poverty decreased also from 23.3% in 2015 to 16.6% in 2018. Of course, a major contributor of this is the Philippines' emerging markets, specifically the industrial sector, which is made up of the industries in spotlight today: manufacturing and agri-business. Manufacturing comprises more than half of the Philippine industry's industrial sector. The industry provides higher employment, income, and output multipliers relative to agriculture and services sector, and it even promotes stronger inter-industry and intersectoral linkages, firm productivity, technological development, and innovation. The Philippine government envisions to create a globally competitive manufacturing industry with a strong forward and backward linkage to serve as hubs in the regional and international production networks of automotive, electronics, garments, and food, and supported by well-managed supply chains. In March this year, our country's manufacturing sector actually increased, no? As detailed in the IHS Markets Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI. This is an index of the prevailing directions of economic trends of the industry. We actually scored 52.2, which is an indication of growth for the industry as it is above the neutral score of 50. This is a promising number for the manufacturing sector, as it dipped in December 2020 to a score of 49.2 when the lockdowns and restrictions were imposed due to the current pandemic. From 1980 to 2014, these industries have contributed more or less about 34% of our GDP. But as early as 1997, the Philippine Institute for Development Studies said that R&D investment is one of the major detriments of productivity, particularly the total factor productivity of the Philippines manufacturing industry, which also rings true to the agribusiness industry. So it's in this light that the DOST-PCIEERD is actively working towards encouraging more Filipinos to create innovations through R&D. So today, we present and celebrate these new projects that we are supporting under the manufacturing and agro-industrial sector as an outcome of our continuous engagement with the stakeholders. Through these 20 new projects, we are confident that we can spur change to drive growth to our economy. We hope that you will be able to be inspired to take on similar projects for those of you that are doing R&D in a similar field. If you are a young science enthusiast, we hope that this will also inspire you to take up science and science, technology, and pursue careers in research in order for us to have to master, no, that muscle in R&D and contribute towards this goal. If you are an investor or coming in from the industry, we hope that you will be able to monitor and see through all of these projects and developments as they roll out, as they develop, as they achieve their milestones, and when they finish, no, and when they finish, be able to engage with them in the fields of technology transfer, licensing, adaptation, and any other means where their research can be of use to your respective sectors. So let's gear up and listen intently as we see these amazing innovations that our Filipino scientists, engineers, and researchers have come out with. Welcome to SIBOL. Thank you very much and mabuhay tayong lahat.